Hello everyone. Today is day 4 of the 6-day going live challenge. I don't think it is a challenge anymore because I'm enjoying it. So this today I want to talk about the topic, the magic is in the journey. So you might have heard the quote, "The journey is more important than the destination." I think there is a little bit of a question mark there because I think both of them are important. And it's probably the person who said that must have said the journey is more important than the destination because think about it. The time you spend at the destination is really, really small compared to the time we spend during the journey. Because let's say somebody wants to climb Mount Everest, so it'll take months and months of preparation, and then they'll get to the summit, and they're not going to stay a month there. They'll just start walking down very, very quickly. And let's say you are doing a 4-year course, engineering or something, and it takes 4 years to complete engineering. But how long do you say when you said exactly the moment you said the journey is complete and you get the certificate? You are not going to stay there and say, okay, I spent 4 years studying engineering. I'm going to just enjoy this for another 4 years. I'll just keep the certificate, relish it. No, the destination, the time you spend in destination is really, really small. The journey is everything. I think I remember a movie, the Hindi movie called Jab We Met. That means when we met. And there is a song there, and it captures the essence of it beautifully. And again, don't judge me for my singing skills, but I'll sing probably like 15, 20 seconds, and then you will see how beautifully the person who wrote the song captured the essence of it. The the scene is that the protagonist, the hero and the heroine, are a little bit lost, and they're going in a bus, and they have no clue where they're going. I think they just know a little bit, but they're just trying to find their way. And the song goes like this: हम जो चलने लगे हैं ये रास्ते, आ, मंजिल से बेहतर लगने लगे हैं ये रास्ते, आ, खो जाए हम खो जाए हम यूं ना पता, आओ आओ मिले यूं चले यूं ना पता, हम जो चलने लगे हैं ये रास्ते. Now, what does that mean? He says, "हम जो चलने लगे ये रास्ते." That means we started walking or going, and the roads also started going with us. But very soon we realized that the destination, the path is better than the destination. Somehow we got lost. We don't know where we are going, but we started enjoying it. And that is what life is. That even people who say they have goals and everything, but what happens along the way when we are going, every one of us will realize that there were trajectory changes along the way. And then they ended up reaching somewhere that they didn't plan to go there. But why? Because the detours or the trajectory shifts took them to a place better than where they were supposed to go. Years ago, I started playing the game Go, and it's very interesting. I mean, in chess, the destination is very simple. You have to checkmate the king, checkmate the other king. So you will do everything that will make you just stick to a singular goal. You have to checkmate the king. You will kill people. You will escape. You will escape the killing, and then you will do everything so that you checkmate the king. Go is different. It is the closest thing to life. In fact, you will learn a lot about life while playing Go. So, for some of you might know, but the others, for the sake of others, the Go is played on a board of 19 by 19 squares. And you play with two stones, the black and white. Black starts and white follows. So there are 19 by 19 has 361 points where you can place the stones. And unlike chess, the objective of the game is to take as much territory as possible. Even if you get 1 point more territory than the opponent, you win. It takes about 10 minutes to learn the rules. Rules are very simple. I won't go into all those things. It takes about 10 minutes, and typically, unless you are like an Einstein or something, typically it may take a few years, maybe 5, 10 years to master the game. So you start with everybody starts at like 30Q, which is the absolute beginner. And if you are really committed to it, you will go to a stage called 9 Dan, which is the highest possible. It's like the grandmaster in chess. But the interesting thing is that when black puts a stone there, it's a conversation that the player has with the other person. Let's say he puts the stone, a black stone, at 4 by 4, 4 by 4 on the board on the right side. What does the player is telling the other person without even opening his mouth or her mouth? He's telling, hey, boss, can I take this corner? And that's a journey. The journey begins. And if the opponent is having fun, what will you do? There are 3 more corners. The opponent will put 4 by 4 on the opposite corner and say, no problem. You take that corner, I take this corner. There are 2 more corners. And the player in the black, he puts 4 by 4 in the next corner. And the opponent says, no problem. I'll take the other corners. Now all the corners are filled. Now comes the magic. So the goal is to have more territory, but you never know what the other person is doing. So you might say, okay, let me extend the board, and you can put 2 points away, you may put another stone to say, I'm going to extend it and I get a little bit more than the corner. Now you can do whatever you want in your turn. So the opponent will not have any chance. He cannot say, I don't want you to put your stone there, because the player has all the right to make his or her move. The opponent says, okay, he has 2 choices. Actually, he has many choices, because if you see there are 361 points on the board where they can put the stone. Now, there are only 5 stones that are placed. So 361 minus 5 is 356. He has 356 points. He can play the game, place his stone, which means the world is the limit, right? So there's so many places he could have chosen to put the stone somewhere near his stones, or he can contest the black players, the player who is playing the black stones territory, and say, I decide to fight you. Now what happens? The first player A, he or she cannot tell the other player that you cannot disturb me. There are 366 points there, and you chose to contest with me. I'm not happy. No, he can't say that, or she can't say that. He has to accept that the other player has the choice to do anything he or she wants, and he has to now adjust to play the game according to the new rules set by that next player's move. Uh, Again, now the player B cannot tell the player A to say, now that I attacked, can you please forgive me and just don't disturb me because I want to take your territory? No, if the player A chooses to fight, he or she can fight. If the player A chooses to not fight, he or she can do whatever she wants because it's their turn. Now let's go to life. So life is exactly like that. You play your move, and then if you are wanting to focus exactly on the goal, then the entire universe has to play its turn. Or if you believe in God, which I do, if the entire universe and the God should say, okay, this person wants to reach towards his goal, just pave the way, right? So just don't do anything that will disturb him. That's not going to happen. That can happen only in movies or some made up stories. So life, you make your move, and then you don't have a choice. but to wait for the God or the universe to make their move. And it can be whatever you want. It can be, let's say, to make it convenient for you, or it can be make it inconvenient for you. So you cannot do anything, but you know the goal, you want to go towards it. But sometimes you have to stop and return, or sometimes you have to take a detour, whatever it is. And that will not make the journey bad. In fact, if you think about it, if everything happens exactly the way you planned it, it will be so boring that you will just want to just live the life and go and die. That's what will happen. It's really, really boring. The fact that there are challenges will make you up level your game and you will grow. So once you realize it, life becomes so much magical, and it'll be completely a sense of wonder, because you or anybody else, unless they are God, cannot know what the universe's move will be. You just have to wait and make your move, and the move will be best among the available options, because if you have a lot of capacity, you have a lot of options. If you have less capacity, you still have a lot of options within the limited capacity you have. In the game of Go, the number of moves available is more than the number of stars in the universe. So, which means imagine it's a 361 square board, and it has the number of moves will be more than the number of stars in the universe. In your life, you will have millions and millions of options. Sometimes, sometimes it's boggles me. I come from India, right? So when I came to the United States in 1997, before that we lived in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, France, and then a couple of other countries. And we came here, myself and Kavita, with two suitcases. And I just felt that there's a cognitive surplus in the United States, because everything I wanted to do, it was super easy. I just want to uh, I could just press a button and the electricity bill will be paid. And I just remember when I was living in my where I was born and brought up in Coorg, my dad would say, "Please pay the electricity bill," and then I would say, "Oh, electricity bill." I would go in my cycle, and then it will take me like 25 minutes or 30 minutes to reach the place where I would pay the electricity bill. It will take about 30-40 minutes to pay the electricity bill and come back, and it'll be like half a day is gone. Here, I just press a button and it's done. And then from the time I came for 6 months, there was no electricity cut, which means there was always electricity. And that would boggle my mind because where I was growing up, there would be a power cut like almost every single day. So I was used to reading using a candlelight. And then I said, wow, there is no electricity cut ever. And I would meet some people and say they would complain for some really small things. And they would say, there is no time. And I was thinking, there is so much time here. There is cognitive surplus like anything. That's why I was able to write, like, I wrote like 10 books in the first 4 years, and probably another 8 books in the next 10 years. I had so much time, I could do more things. And I'm not complaining, but I'm saying it's all about perspective, because sometimes we take things for granted because we have it. If we don't have it, then we will know the pain of it. So that's why when I meet with young people, I always say you should just spend some time elsewhere in other countries, because until you see it firsthand, you don't know how magical this place or any place in the first world country is. And you will stop complaining about things that are really, really simple. I mean, once there was a power cut, and my neighbor was like, "Oh, what is wrong with these people? How can they cut? It's been 15 minutes." And then I'm just so like he was on fumes. And I told him what the situation was, where I came from. And after that, he never complained, because the next time there was a power cut, it was like 8 months later. And at that time, I saw him, he was outside, and then he was just smiling. So he realized what a dream place this is. So that's all I wanted to say. The magic is in the journey, Because if you forget how important the journey is, even if you reach the destination, it'll be a fleeting moment, and immediately you start the next journey. Like I remember Sadhguru was telling once that life is all about expansion and self-expression, and as long as we are growing, there is juice. When you stop growing, you become old. So what happens in the destination? You say, I reached here, so what is the next expansion for me? Immediately you start the next journey. So if the destination is more important, it'll be split seconds. That's where you are. But the journey is a super long time, and you're always in some journey or the other. So have a great day, and until next time, you will meet again soon.